Writing about my presidency isn't just telling my story. It's an invitation to step inside the rooms where decisions were made, to witness the moments of doubt and hope that shaped not only my time in office, but the country itself. I wanted to go beyond the headlines and sound bites, to offer a window into the personal and political challenges that come with leading a nation. It's a conversation with history. Every page is a dialogue between the past and the present, a reflection on how the choices we make echo through time. I found myself constantly looking back, at the leaders who came before me, at the movements that shaped our democracy, and at the ordinary people whose stories are woven into the fabric of America. I wanted to show the reality of leadership, the late nights, the tough choices, and the weight of so many hopes. There were moments of exhaustion, of uncertainty, and of quiet determination. Leadership isn't about having all the answers. It's about listening, learning, and carrying the responsibility of millions on your shoulders, even when the path forward isn't clear. This book isn't a highlight reel. It's about the messy, imperfect process of democracy. It's about the debates that stretch late into the night, the disagreements that test our resolve, and the moments when progress feels painfully slow. Democracy is never easy, and it's never finished. It's a constant work in progress, shaped by the voices and actions of everyday people. I wrote it for anyone who believes in progress, even when it's hard, and for those who refuse to give up on the idea that we can build something better together. I wanted to reach people who may feel discouraged by setbacks, to remind them that every step forward matters, no matter how small. And I wrote it for my daughters, to show that change is something you fight for, not just something you hope for. I wanted them to see that even in the face of adversity, it's possible to hold on to your values, to act with integrity, and to make a difference in the world. My hope is to inspire a new generation to pick up the baton, ask hard questions, and challenge the status quo. I want young people to know that their voices matter, that their dreams and ideas can shape the future, and that leadership is open to anyone willing to step up and serve. And keep building a more perfect union. Our nation's story is still being written, and each of us has a role to play in moving it forward. Whether through small acts of kindness or bold acts of courage, we all contribute to the ongoing experiment of American democracy. Leadership is both a privilege and a burden, and I wanted to give readers a sense of what it truly feels like. The moments of solitude, the weight of expectations, and the constant balancing of hope and reality. These are the truths I wanted to share, honestly and openly. Ultimately, A Promised Land is an honest look at what we achieved, where we fell short, and the journey in between. It's a testament to the power of perseverance, the importance of self-reflection, and the belief that progress is always possible, even when the odds seem long. And the lessons learned about democracy's fragility and power. My hope is that by sharing these experiences, readers will feel empowered to engage, to question, and to keep striving for a better, more just world. My journey began in Honolulu, a place where the ocean meets the sky, and the spirit of aloha is woven into daily life. Growing up surrounded by the natural beauty of Hawaii, I was also immersed in a community that celebrated diversity and resilience. The islands were a crossroads of cultures, languages, and traditions, and from an early age, I learned to appreciate the richness that comes from difference. My upbringing was shaped by a blend of cultures and a search for identity. I was the son of a Kenyan father and a mother from Kansas, raised by my grandparents who taught me the values of hard work and compassion. In Hawaii, I saw firsthand how people from different backgrounds could come together, share their stories, and build something greater than themselves. That outsider's perspective taught me to listen and understand people from all walks of life. I learned that everyone has a story worth hearing, and that empathy is the foundation of true leadership. Whether it was on the basketball court or in the classroom, I discovered the importance of building bridges and finding common ground. Years later, working as a community organizer in Chicago, I learned that real change starts at the grassroots. In neighborhoods facing hardship, I saw the power of ordinary people coming together to solve problems and lift each other up. It was there that I realized the importance of giving people a voice and the tools to shape their own futures. Politics, I discovered, is about empowering people to shape their own destinies. It's about making sure that every person, no matter their background or circumstance, has a seat at the table and a say in the decisions that affect their lives. I saw how democracy could be a force for good when it was rooted in community and guided by hope. My path led from law school to the Illinois State Senate. Det siger stærmeren sein. To DuPont. Justice. Tenacity ein den nieuwe stir. Each step a lesson in compromise and coalition building. In the halls of government, I learned that progress is rarely easy, and that meaningful change requires patience, persistence, and the willingness to listen to those who disagree with you. In Springfield, I started to believe we could bridge America's divides and practice a more hopeful politics. Surrounded by colleagues with different beliefs and backgrounds, I saw that it was possible to find common purpose and work toward a future that included everyone. Those years taught me that hope is not blind optimism, but the courage to face challenges together. Running for president was a leap of faith, an audacious bet on the decency and wisdom of the American people. I knew the road ahead would be difficult, but I believed that if we appealed to our better angels, we could rise above cynicism and fear. My campaign was built on the idea that change is possible when people come together with a shared sense of purpose. My story, rooted in America's promise, was meant to inspire the country to believe in itself again. I wanted every child, no matter where they came from, to know that their dreams mattered. Together, we could write a new chapter, one defined by unity, hope, and the enduring belief that, in America, anything is possible. The 2008 campaign felt like a movement, not just a race. Yes We Can was more than a slogan. It was a belief in ordinary people's power to create change. Volunteers from every background fueled our campaign, proving that hope and inclusion could overcome cynicism. We faced tough questions about my experience in race, but we didn't shy away from honest conversations. My speech on race in Philadelphia was a pivotal moment, showing our campaign was about healing old wounds, not just winning. Election night in Grant Park was a turning point, America turning a page, but also facing new challenges. The celebration was brief, the real work was just beginning. We had promised change, and now the world was watching. The weight of expectation was immense, but so was the opportunity. Taking office in 2009 meant facing the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. My first days were about triage, not celebration, stopping the bleeding and making tough, sometimes unpopular decisions. We passed a massive stimulus and rescued the auto industry, knowing inaction would be catastrophic. Decision-making was complex and required listening to every perspective. It was a crash course in crisis management, staying calm, focused, and guided by principle. The recovery was slow and painful, but our actions laid the groundwork for historic job growth. We stabilized the financial system and began rebuilding, even if the work wasn't glamorous. Sometimes, the most important work is the least visible. I believed healthcare should be a right, not a privilege, and set out to reform a broken system. The fight for the Affordable Care Act was grueling. Fierce opposition, razor-thin margins, and constant setbacks. For me, it was a moral imperative, inspired by families struggling with medical bills and denied coverage. We held countless meetings, made compromises, and kept pushing forward. In March 2010 we passed the ACA, a proud, imperfect but monumental step. It banned denial for pre-existing conditions, let young people stay on their parents' plans, and expanded coverage to millions. The process was messy, but it proved transformative change is possible. Perseverance and vision made it happen. The ACA was a testament to fighting for what matters, even when the odds are long. As president, I inherited wars and a world in flux. The challenges facing the United States were immense, and the stakes could not have been higher. Every day brought new developments, some hopeful, many deeply troubling. The world was watching, and every decision I made would ripple far beyond our borders. Ending the war in Iraq required careful planning to avoid chaos, not just for our troops, but for the Iraqi people who had endured years of conflict. We had to coordinate with allies, manage shifting alliances, and ensure that our withdrawal would not leave a vacuum for violence to return. The process was painstaking, and every step was scrutinized by the world. Meanwhile, Afghanistan demanded a new strategy and a difficult troop surge. We faced a resilient enemy and a fragile government. The decision to send more troops was not made lightly. It meant more American lives at risk, and more families waiting anxiously at home. We debated every option, knowing that none were perfect. The weight of these choices was immense, especially knowing the human cost. Each name, each face, Each family affected by war was a reminder of the responsibility I carried. The burden of command is never abstract. It is deeply personal. The Arab Spring brought hope and uncertainty. Millions took to the streets demanding freedom and change. The world was shifting beneath our feet, and we had to respond quickly, often with incomplete information. The promise of democracy was real, but so were the dangers of instability. In Libya, we intervened to prevent a massacre, facing imperfect options. The decision to act was fraught with risk, military, political, and moral. We worked with our allies, debated the consequences, and ultimately chose to act to save lives, knowing that the aftermath would be complicated and uncertain. The raid on Osama bin Laden was a defining moment. High risk, no guarantees, and the world holding its breath. The intelligence was strong, but not absolute. The operation required secrecy, precision, and courage from everyone involved. But it was a call I had to make. The responsibility rested with me alone, and I knew the consequences of failure would be profound, not just for our nation, but for the world. Waiting for news from the SEALs was one of the most intense moments of my life. Every second felt like an hour. The room was silent, every eye fixed on the monitors, every heartbeat echoing with anticipation and fear. Bin Laden's death didn't end terrorism, nor did it erase the pain of those we had lost. But it was a moment of justice, a signal to the world that we would not waver in the face of threats. It brought a measure of closure to many, and showed the stakes of presidential decisions. The world saw the weight of leadership and the cost of action. Foreign policy is a series of hard choices, rarely clear-cut. Each decision is made with imperfect information, under immense pressure, and with consequences that can last for generations. Leadership means acting, even when every option carries risk. In the end, you hope your choices move the world closer to peace, even if the path is never easy or certain. The presidency is often lonely. The final decision always rests with you. I fostered a culture of debate, insisting on hearing every perspective before making a call. My approach was methodical, sometimes frustrating staff who wanted quick answers. But with stakes so high, deliberation was essential. The bin Laden raid tested this process. Advisors were split, the risks enormous. Ultimately, I trusted my gut, informed by all the debate and analysis. Every decision carried real-world consequences for people's lives. That responsibility was both a burden and a motivation to do better every day. Life in the White House is isolating, a bubble of constant security and scrutiny. Preserving normalcy for my family became a top priority. Michelle and I worked to give Malia and Sasha as normal a childhood as possible. Family dinners, bedtime stories, and cheering at soccer games. Those moments grounded me and reminded me what truly mattered. Michelle was the rock of our family, creating stability and leading her own initiatives as First Lady. Balancing the roles of president, husband, and father was a constant challenge. There were times I felt I was falling short, but family time recharged me and gave me perspective. Making time for loved ones wasn't a distraction, it was essential to leading well. Those moments were a reminder of the future I was fighting for. My election was seen as a sign of a post-racial America, but the reality was more complicated. The image of a black family in the White House was powerful, but old wounds and divisions persisted. My presidency sometimes inflamed those divisions, from birther conspiracies to political backlash. I felt a unique responsibility to speak honestly about race, especially during national crises. Progress isn't a straight line. Every step forward can bring pushback. Looking back, I see both hope and unfinished work. A Promised Land is just one chapter in America's ongoing journey. The work continues and the promise endures if we keep striving together.